With Henry Cejudo reportedly back in the USADA testing pool, some have suggested he could be next to challenge current bantamweight champ Aljamain Sterling, and another top bantamweight has also been discussing that particular rumor, while Henry has been involved in a bit of a scrap outside the octagon. Today, we're discussing Sean O'Malley's thoughts on the Cejudo vs Sterling fight, plus Henry and Hasbulla getting into it. Stay right where you are. First up, Henry has been involved in a social media spat with one UFC welterweight. Cejudo is no stranger to confrontation, but getting into a war of words with a guy 2 or 3 divisions above you probably isn't well advised. Henry recently exchanged a few words on Instagram with a certain Kevin Holland, who takes on Stephen Thompson this weekend, but it was all pretty lighthearted really. Kevin mocked Henry's height after he posted a photo with his wife Anna on Instagram. Cejudo also suggested that the only thing missing from the photo was a new championship belt draping across my left shoulder. However, Holland didn't miss a beat and commented saying, "Handsome heels, my guy," while also adding an emoji of a pair of women's heels. Triple C then suggested he doesn't need them if he has good takedown defense, probably in reference to Holland's first round mauling at the hands of Khamzat in September. But Kevin wasn't impressed, firing back, "Worst comeback ever, but good stuff, minion." The pair then exchanged back and forth with Henry suggesting he could teach Kevin how to sprawl if he comes to help him dust his trophy case. Henry then made a dodgy joke by saying, "All them inches and you don't know how to use them," before Holland appeared to see his meaning. Henry then wished him the best against Wonderboy this weekend, urging him not to get taken down. What do you guys make of the exchange between these two? Let us know below. News of a new training partner for Cejudo now. Stay tuned. Henry Cejudo took on Demetrious Johnson at UFC 227 back in August 2018, handing Mighty Mouse his first defeat in more than 6 years.
48-47 for the winner, and new undisputed,
simultaneously winning the flyweight title from Johnson, who would leave the UFC following the fight. Cejudo instantly became an overnight star given how highly regarded DJ was, and it turns out that with Henry now eyeing a bantamweight title fight against Aljamain Sterling, the two former foes have put their old rivalry to one side to become training partners of late. Eric Albarracin, who serves as Cejudo's trainer, recently gave his take on what the newly formed training partnership means, describing it as like watching Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan train. Captain Eric then went on to further compare the two to other legends of the combat sports game, both real and fictional. You know, Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. This is everything that nobody's supposed to see. It's surreal that these two are actually training together, exchanging knowledge, feeding off of each other. I'm at a loss for words for what this is, because you almost rarely ever see it. Albarracin then added that DJ's fight IQ is through the roof, which can only be good for his man Cejudo in his bid to win back the bantamweight title he views as his own. What do you guys make of these guys training together? Let us know below. Next up, Sugar Sean has been discussing Dana White's new Slap League. It's no secret that Dana's new Power Slap League has attracted some side-eye glances from plenty of people around the combat sports world, including Joe Rogan, and another MMA personality who isn't particularly sold on it is bantamweight contender Sean O'Malley. The Nevada Athletic Commission has recently approved White's new venture, and O'Malley has also been discussing it with White himself of late, revealing that he sat down with Dana during a visit to UFC HQ. O'Malley also explained how White's a different breed of human, then describing him as a modern-day gangster, but with legal. However, his praise did not extend to the Power Slap League, which he claimed was the dumbest ever. Sean then asked why anyone would be interested in that, but explained that Dana was getting fired up about it. I mean, he can get fired up about it as much as he likes, but the likelihood is that it's not gonna attract many crossover fans from MMA. Apparently, White told O'Malley that he was as excited about the new Slap League as he was when he first started building the UFC, but we're still not sure. The bantamweight #1 then suggested that Dana is now getting the same hate from new people when he was first starting the UFC, and people were like, "This is barbaric." Are you guys interested in Dana's new business venture? We'll be sticking with MMA for now. O'Malley has been discussing Joe Rogan next. Stick around. As the world's foremost podcaster and UFC commentator, Joe Rogan was always going to invite Sean O'Malley back on the show. Sugar Sean appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast last week and has commended Rogan on his ability to create an organic, natural conversation out of nothing. O'Malley and Rogan covered a number of different topics during their own almost 4-hour conversation, with Sean suggesting that it didn't seem that long. O'Malley then revealed how Rogan always has something to say and can just make shit up on the fly. Speaking on the Timbo Sugar Show, Sean revealed how the feedback he had gotten was pretty good so far, saying, "I got a lot of good feedback from it. I haven't gotten any negative feedback that I've seen, so I think it's been good." With O'Malley on the cusp of a title shot in the next fight or two, his stock is currently at an all-time high. If he does manage to fight for the title and win, then it is likely he will be back on the world's most popular podcast before you know it. What did you guys make of O'Malley's appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast? Give us your thoughts below. So what has O'Malley been saying about the potential Cejudo versus Sterling title fight? As annoying and cringeworthy as Henry Cejudo is, there's no doubting the man's talent. A former two-weight champion, he has recently returned to the USADA testing pool and is thought to be sniffing around a bantamweight title shot. His manager, Ali Abdelaziz, also recently came through and suggested that a fight between Cejudo and Sterling is done, which prompted a response from Sean O'Malley. Speaking on the aforementioned Timbo Sugar Show, O'Malley said, "Henry is ready to go. I believe that. I think Henry is wanting to fight. Aljo doesn't want that fight is what I'm seeing. I don't know if he doesn't want that fight because he thinks it's a tough matchup, or he doesn't want that fight because he doesn't want to get back in a fight camp." Sean then suggested that the press conferences in the build-up to any title fight would be so cringy, but he isn't innocent of cringe himself. I mean, some of the nonsense he's come out with in the past borders on embarrassing, but that didn't stop him saying, "Can you imagine how cringy those press conferences are gonna be?" Sterling was last out against TJ Dillashaw at UFC 280 in October, scoring a second-round TKO win as TJ's shoulder popped out of place in the first. Cejudo is almost 3 years removed from his last octagon appearance, so could there be a little ring rust where Triple C is concerned? Do you guys see this one happening? And finally, Henry has gotten into it with Hasbulla. One of the more nauseating aspects of the UFC is how they exploit their stars, which is what is currently happening with Russian social media personality Hasbulla. The youngster has a growth hormone deficiency, resulting in dwarfism, but that hasn't stopped the UFC from cashing in on his popularity. Hasbulla can be seen at most big events these days and has recently signed a deal with the UFC to promote their events. Some had suggested this would include a fight, but this is of course nonsense. And the miniature star recently came face to face with Henry Cejudo, landing a well-placed strike to the face of the former double champ as he bent down to jokingly confront him after their recent back and forth on social media. Henry uploaded the video with the caption, "Warning, graphic content. Here's footage of Hasbulla blatantly assaulting me," before going on to joke that he wouldn't be calling in the cops as long as Hasbulla signs the contract, while again jokingly warning the Russian that he was coming for him. Hasbulla has recently been in conflict with one Conor McGregor, claiming that he will cause some problems for him if they ever meet. He needs to be careful though, as we all know McGregor is somewhat of a loose cannon these days, and probably wouldn't think twice about lashing out at Hasbulla.
Oh man,
Until that.
oh he's done, he's done.
History has been made. Conor McGregor is the UFC lightweight champion.
What do you guys make of the UFC's affiliation with the young Russian? As always, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to tune in again next time for some more cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking today's video, while also sharing it with any UFC heads you guys might know. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.